Career Advancement, Part 7, Navigating Difficult Decisions. The comforting murmur of the cafe had become a staple in Emily and Daniel's weekly conversations. Tonight, though, the topic seemed weightier. They had explored many aspects of leadership and influence, but there was something they hadn't quite tackled: the difficult decisions every leader must face, where there's no clear right or wrong.
Daniel, I've been thinking a lot about leadership recently. It's easy when things are going well. But what about when we're forced to make the tough calls? I've had a few situations lately where I was backed into a corner. And no matter what choice I made, it felt wrong.
Yeah. Tough decisions are where leadership really shows its teeth. Anyone can lead when things are going smoothly, but when you're faced with no-win situations, that's when it gets real. What kind of decisions have you been dealing with?
We were working on a project with a tight deadline, and I had to choose between quality and time. If I pushed the team to hit the deadline, we'd be compromising on the details, but if I didn't, we'd risk losing the client. I decided to push for the deadline, but it didn't sit well with me. It still doesn't. Question: Daniel, when you're faced with decisions like that, how do you prioritize? Do you A. Focus on long-term outcomes over short-term problems? B. Consider how it will affect your team and their morale? C. Go with your instincts and make a quick decision?
I'd say B. Consider how it will affect your team and their morale. In situations like that, I've found that the team's well-being is critical. If you lose their trust or burn them out, it doesn't matter if you hit a deadline. The long-term damage to morale and productivity will cost you more in the end. I try to balance the business needs with keeping the team motivated. How did your team react to your decision?
They weren't thrilled. I could feel the frustration, but we managed to deliver. Still, it made me wonder if I should have handled it differently.
That's the thing with leadership, right? Even when you make the right call, it doesn't always feel like a win. Sometimes, it's about the least bad option.
The conversation settled into a brief pause, with both of them considering the weight of making difficult decisions that inevitably affect others. Emily reflected on the tension between delivering results and maintaining team morale. Leadership wasn't just about making decisions. It was about balancing the needs of the team and the expectations from above.
Exactly. I've been struggling with whether I should have stood up to management and pushed for more time. But then I worry that could have made things worse. Question: Daniel, when you've had to make a tough decision that wasn't popular, how do you handle the aftermath? Do you A. Stand firm and let the results speak for themselves? B. Explain your decision in detail to the team to maintain trust? C. Keep things moving and focus on what's next?
I'd say B. Explain your decision in detail to maintain trust. Transparency goes a long way. When I've had to make unpopular decisions, I've found that if I take the time to explain why I made the call, people are more likely to accept it, even if they don't agree. It shows respect and lets them know you're not just making arbitrary decisions.
That makes sense. I didn't explain my reasoning as well as I could have, and I think that might have been part of the problem. The team was frustrated, and I don't think they fully understood the position I was in.
It's tough. You're juggling expectations from above and the needs of the team below. But the more you involve them in the process, even if the decision is ultimately yours, the more they'll feel connected to the outcome.
As their conversation deepened, Emily felt a small wave of clarity wash over her. Leadership wasn't just about making the right decision. It was about bringing people along with you, even through the difficult moments. She realized that communicating the why behind her decisions could have made all the difference.
You know, I think what makes these decisions so hard is the fear of making the wrong choice. There's always that voice in the back of my head wondering if I've just made a mistake that's going to haunt me. Question: Daniel, when you feel that doubt creeping in after a tough decision, how do you deal with it? Do you A. Reflect on what you've learned and move on? B. Seek feedback from others to validate your choice? C. Keep pushing forward, hoping the results will justify it?
I'd say A. Reflect on what you've learned and move on. Doubt is natural, especially when you're in a leadership position. But the best way I've found to handle it is to reflect on what went well, what didn't, and learn from it. You're not going to get every decision right, and that's okay. It's about growing from the experience and making better choices next time.
I think that's exactly what I needed to hear. I've been so worried about making the perfect choice that I forgot it's okay to learn as I go. Not every decision will be flawless, but as long as I take something from it, I'm growing.
Their conversation settled into a comfortable rhythm again as the weight of leadership seemed to feel just a little lighter. Emily realized that part of being a good leader was accepting that mistakes were part of the process, and no decision was without its lessons.
You know, Emily, the hardest decisions are the ones that shape us the most. We don't always get them right, but how we handle the fallout, how we grow from them, that's what defines us as leaders.
You're right, and I think I'm starting to see that making tough decisions isn't just about the immediate outcome. It's about building resilience, trust, and learning to navigate through the unknown. That's where real leadership comes from.
As they finished their drinks and prepared to leave the cafe, Emily and Daniel walked away with a deeper understanding of leadership, knowing that tough decisions weren't just about making the right choice, but about navigating through the uncertainty, learning from each experience, and growing stronger in the process. 5 final words and phrases related to the theme of career advancement. Part 7. Navigating difficult decisions.
Resilience. The strength to recover from setbacks and to handle the emotional weight of difficult decisions in leadership. Transparency. The practice of openly sharing your thought process with your team, especially when making tough calls, to maintain trust and understanding.
Trust. Building confidence within your team by explaining decisions clearly and making them feel included in the process, even if they don't fully agree. Growth. Understanding that each decision, whether right or wrong, presents an opportunity to learn and improve as a leader.
Balance. The constant act of juggling the needs of the business, the team, and personal leadership development when making tough choices.